A guy was just working from home when out of nowhere a dart zipped through the air and pinned his neck. Whoever did this had perfect aim, and it was clear this guy was the target. He thought it was the end, but when he grabbed the dart, he realized it was actually a syringe. A second later, everything got blurry, his vision went black, and he passed out on the floor. When he woke up, it was dark, and a ringing phone jolted him awake. He didn't know who was on the other end, but the creep knew every detail about his home. The weirdest part? He was still in his house. He felt fine, and there wasn't a single sign of a break-in or a struggle. He knew something was seriously wrong, so he rushed to his son's room, but it was empty. He searched every corner of that 800-square-foot bungalow, but his kid was gone. Just as he was asking the guy on the phone what was happening, he got a photo. It showed his son tied up in an old warehouse with a toxic gas pipe right above him. The guy on the phone said if he did one job for him, the kid would be released. His son was his whole world, so he had no choice but to listen. He headed to the basement like he was told and found a large crate on the floor. He popped it open to find a stash of weapons inside. There wasn't just gear though, there was a body camera too. Without wasting a second, he strapped it on and hit record. He grabbed the car keys from the box and saw a brand new bulletproof SUV parked right outside. Seeing all this setup, he knew this was way more than a simple job. He threw the crate into the trunk, jumped in, and saw the route was already programmed into the GPS. He floored it and reached his destination, a massive hotel. The mastermind, let's call him Lao He, told him that 2 drug cartels were inside negotiating a deal. The only reason he was brought there was to wipe everyone out and kill the deal. After hearing that from Lao He, the guy felt a bit relieved. He didn't want any trouble, but for the sake of his son, he had to follow orders. He grabbed an automatic rifle and stepped out of the car. Surprisingly, there were no guards at the hotel entrance, so he slipped inside unnoticed. The drug dealers were busy getting high, completely oblivious to the danger knocking at their door. He walked into the room with his rifle ready. Then he opened fire on the drug dealers, Kaba and Abu Dufi. He quickly scrambled for cover. When the dealers started shooting back, he stayed totally calm because most of them were already down. He fired a few shots and a whole group hit the floor. He turned his sights on the smaller gang members and they were taken out in seconds. The hall was cleared of goons. He kicked open the kitchen door and headed in. But the moment he started searching, a small goon jumped him from the side. He went to take him down, but his gun was empty. Then a bald goon stepped up. He ditched the empty gun, spun around, and landed a solid punch. He got caught up for a second, and the bald guy clocked him right in the face. He quickly gathered himself and kicked the guy away. Job done, he bolted to his car and sped off into the night. He told Lao He that the job was finished and demanded he release his son. But the guy didn't know that Lao He was actually a major drug lord himself. He only used the kid as leverage to get the guy to take out his competition. Even if the guy had been caught by the police, Lao He wouldn't have lost a thing. He immediately sent the guy on a second mission. This time, the target was a big-time mob boss. Since his son was still a prisoner, he had no choice but to comply. When he reached the boss's territory, Lao He told his crew to link up to the body cam so he could watch the action live. The drug dealers were just chilling, watching TV. Meanwhile, the guy entered the bar and a small goon tried to stop him. While searching him, the goon spotted the camera on his chest. The guy didn't wait and took him out instantly. After dealing with the guard, he marched straight into the main auditorium. The target was relaxing on the upper floor, but there were tons of guards blocking the stairs. He looked for another way up, but the guards spotted him. He nailed one guy with an elbow strike and took him down. With one leap, he vaulted up to the second floor. He picked off the guards one by one with perfect precision. Lao He was loving it from his screen. A goon tried to jump him on the second floor, but he tossed him over the railing. He beat down the remaining guards and pushed up to the third floor. This time, the goons had guns, so he pulled his own. He realized a direct fight wouldn't work, so he blended into the crowd. He got up close, fired point blank, and used one of the goons as a human shield to take down the rest. Then he stormed the VIP room. Lao He ordered him to finish the target, but he didn't shoot right away. He purposely let the drug dealer hear Lao He's voice because he wanted to find out who he was to save his son. The drug dealer was too slow to realize what was happening. The guy didn't hesitate anymore and shot him dead. Seeing his rival drop, Lao He was thrilled. The guy thought he'd finally see his son, but Lao He got greedy and gave him a third mission because his crew wanted more action.
Now, Lao He ordered him to take out another huge drug lord. He promised that after this, the kid would be released. Lao He's partner, Lao Bai, warned him that Nilo, the target, was incredibly vengeful and would know exactly how this ends. He knew Nilo from their time in the CIA, but Lao He didn't care. He was sure Nilo wouldn't make it out alive. And Nilo wasn't just some random guy. He got word that his other branches were wiped out. He immediately ordered his men to suit up. In no time, the guy reached Nilo's compound, which was wide open and deserted. Nilo strapped 2 grenades to his vest and double-checked his ammo. Ready to go, he pulled his car right up to the front gate. When the guards came to check, he drew his weapons and took them out. He had the guts to do this because he was packing heavy heat. He smashed his car straight into the mansion and started picking off goons from his position. He kicked down the front door and stormed inside. He pulled out a grenade and tossed it into the courtyard. Nilo heard the chaos and asked his men what was going on. Meanwhile, the guy was moving forward through a hail of bullets. He stood behind a pillar, waited for an opening, and fired back. When the goons ran dry, he quickly swapped his magazine. He kept firing and pushed deeper into the main part of the mansion. Nilo was fighting for his life, while Lao He watched it like a video game. But the guy didn't care about the game. He was only focused on saving his son. He kept taking down goons, while Nilo fought hard to survive. When Nilo moved forward, he took 2 hits and dropped to the floor. Seeing Nilo captured, Lao He shook his head in disappointment, but Lao Bai looked relieved. Nilo being caught meant a big problem was solved. Nilo was badly hurt, but he didn't know that the reason he was able to get into the mansion was because Nilo let him, just so he could find out who the real mastermind was. Nilo didn't know the full story. He just knew the guy was a drug dealer too. Nilo spilled the beans about Lao He's identity, and the guy finally found out the name, but it was almost too late because Nilo was staring down the barrel of a gun. Just as the dealer was about to pull the trigger, Lao He's crew attacked to wipe Nilo out. That gave the guy a chance to break free, and Lao He's men started fighting the drug dealer. Nilo ripped off his bindings during the fight. As the dealer tried to reach for his gun, Nilo shot him down. After cleaning house, Nilo sped out of the mansion, stole a small car, and headed toward Lao He to rescue his son. Meanwhile, Lao He was popping champagne, celebrating that all his rivals were gone. He told Lao Bai to let the kid go, but cruel Lao Bai didn't want to. He went to the warehouse where the kid was kept and released toxic gas. But when they walked in wearing masks, they saw the place was empty. Nilo knew Nilo might pull something like this, so he'd already moved the kid to a safe spot. As both sides faced off, Nilo showed up. Seeing Lao Bai, he put it all together. He didn't wait and took out Lao Bai with a single shot. Then he aimed his gun at Lao He and demanded his son back. Finally, father and son were reunited. Seeing his son was unharmed, he wanted to kill Lao He, but Lao He stayed calm. He told Nilo, "You've wiped out so many gangs. If you kill me now, the others will come for you." Nilo realized he had a point. Seeing that his son was safe, Nilo finally let him go. In the end, the father and son rode off on a motorcycle back home. And that's how it all ended.